G'day everyone, welcome back to Where and When. Today I want to talk about a Disney movie that takes place under the sea. Well, I guess I should have seen that one coming. In 2003, Pixar released Finding Nemo, and 13 years later, in 2016, they released a sequel, Finding Dory. So 10 years later, in 2026, we're going to talk about both of them. Let's start with the first film. A clownfish named Marlin loses his entire family in a home invasion, save for one egg which he decides to call Nemo. A few years later, Nemo is about to go off on his first day of school when he's abducted by scuba divers. So Marlin and a fish named Dory go on an epic adventure to save Nemo, while Nemo and a gang of fish try to escape from a dentist's aquarium. The sequel centers on Marlin's friend Dory, who suffers from short-term memory loss. But right out of the blue, she suddenly remembers her family and goes on a journey to find them. So Dory, Marlin, and Nemo travel all the way to a giant aquarium across the ocean and go on a search for her family. And along the way, Dory slowly starts regaining memories that were long since forgotten. We're going to be pulling double shifts for this video, so let's take a look at where and when Finding Nemo and Finding Dory take place. Where does it take place? Interestingly, both of these films take place in the Pacific Ocean, but on different sides. Let's start with Finding Nemo, which takes place in Australia. Marlin and Nemo live in the Great Barrier Reef, which is located along the eastern coast of Queensland in northeastern Australia, and this is where the journey of the film begins. The sharks live not too far away from the reef in the wreckage of a submarine surrounded by an underwater minefield. While they never mentioned it in the movie, this is supposed to be the site of a World War II battle called the Battle of the Coral Sea. During the journey, Marlin and Dory hitch a ride with a group of turtles riding on the East Australian Current.
What you want to do is follow the EAC. That's East Australian Current. Big current.
This is a real ocean current running along the eastern coast of Australia, through the Coral Sea and the Tasman Sea. After getting swallowed by a whale, the journey ends in Sydney, the capital of New South Wales. And sorry to say this, but 42 Wallaby Way is not a real location. Nemo spends most of the film in a saltwater aquarium in a dentist's office. This building has a view of Sydney Harbour, which puts it on the north side of Port Jackson Bay. Using the angle of the shot and the Sydney Eye, the Sydney Opera House, and the Sydney Harbour Bridge as reference points, this puts the dentist's office on Bradley's Head in Mosman. In fact, this exact shot lines up with one taken from Bradley's Head Amphitheatre. It's worth pointing out that in real life, this headland has little to no buildings and is pretty heavily forested. The only road in the area, Bradley's Head Road, is not a major road and has no traffic lights.
That's the shortest red line I've ever seen!
Similarly, Angel's Cove, the restaurant whose roof the pelicans hang out on, is also fictional and it appears to be located in the same area. Nigel's Buoy is located in front of the Sydney Water Treatment Center. Since the harbor can be seen in the distance from this area, this places both the buoy and the water treatment center on Bradley's Head, the same area as the dentist's office. Marlin reunites with Nemo and Dory in the fishing grounds, which don't appear to be too far from the Sydney Water Treatment Center, meaning the climax of the first film takes place in the Tasman Sea near Mosman. After this, they all return to the Great Barrier Reef, which is where the second film picks up. Marlin, Dory, and Nemo travel across the Pacific Ocean to the United States of America. The rest of the film takes place at the Marine Life Institute in Morro Bay, California.
That's this place, the Marine Life Institute, the jewel of Morro Bay, California.
While the Marine Life Institute is fictional, the town of Morro Bay is very real. It's located 200 miles northwest of Los Angeles in the Central Coast region of California. After escaping the aquarium, Dory and Hank the Octopus hijack a truck and head towards the water, driving on the Great Coastal Highway near Morro Bay. The driving force of the second film, no pun intended, is a transfer to the Marine Life Institute in Cleveland, Ohio.
They get transferred to permanent digs, an aquarium in Cleveland. Fish in here, go back in the ocean. Cleveland fish, stay there forever.
Cleveland? No.
Now, Cleveland has had a couple of aquariums, but the first one closed in 1985 and the second one opened in 2012. So this means that the Marine Life Institute in Cleveland is also fictional. And yeah, that's about it for the where portion, so let's go on to the next one. When does it take place? The life ring in the dentist's office has '03 on it, which is a possible implication that the film takes place in 2003. This is further confirmed by the Aquascum 2003 manual, which gives the copyright date as 2003. So we've pretty much confirmed that the film takes place in 2003. As a bonus, the script says that Nemo is supposed to be 6 years old in the present day, meaning that the opening scene with the Barracuda attack takes place in 1997.
I promise I will never let anything happen to you, Nemo.
But back to the present. The calendar in the dentist's office is dated November, so this means that Finding Nemo takes place in November of 2003. One last thing to note, the dentist's calendar shows November starting on a Sunday. November of 2003 actually started on a Saturday. The nearest year where November started on a Sunday was 6 years later in 2009. And since the calendar shows us what day Darla's birthday is, November 13th, this helps us put together a timeline for the movie. November 7th, 2003. Nemo is captured by divers, Marlin meets Dory, and encounters the Shark Gang. November 8th, 2003. Nemo meets the Tank Gang. He becomes a member of the gang, and they immediately begin plotting an escape attempt. On the other side of things, Marlin and Dory learn Nemo's location and almost get eaten by an anglerfish. November 9th, 2003. Marlin and Dory meet a school of fish who direct them to the EAC. After an argument about directions, they almost die in a jellyfish forest. And speaking of almost dying, the Tank Gang's first escape attempt goes very wrong. November 10th, 2003. Marlin and Dory hitch a ride on Crush the Sea Turtle and tell the other turtles about their adventures thus far. November 11th, 2003. Reinvigorated after learning that his dad is coming to save him, Nemo jams the tank filter. Marlin and Dory exit the EAC and are promptly swallowed by a whale.
He went looking for you, and he was swallowed by a whale.
November 12th, 2003. The tank is completely slimed up, and the Tank Gang thinks they've won, while the whale arrives in town and ejects Marlin and Dory into the harbor. November 13th, 2003. After a series of events, Nemo finally escapes from the tank and reunites with his father, and also helps rescue a group of fish from a fisherman's net. Since it took Marlin and Dory 6 days to get from point A to point B, which, in real life, this would take way longer than just 6 days, this means that it most likely took them 6 days to get back home, meaning they returned to the Great Barrier Reef around November 19th. So we've covered all the bases with Finding Nemo. Now let's talk about its sequel. Finding Dory takes place 1 year after the first film. Since we've already established the first film's setting to be 2003, this means that Finding Dory takes place in 2004. You'd have to look real closely at it, but the calendar in the Marine Life Institute starts on a Sunday, and the only 2 months in 2004 that started on a Sunday were February and August. Remember how I said the calendar in the first film started on the wrong weekday? Well, we're going to use this to our advantage. If November of 1 year starts on a Sunday, this means that the only month of the next year that starts on a Sunday is August. And since August happens to be one of our 2 options, this means that Finding Dory takes place in August of 2004. Unfortunately, while I was able to figure out the exact dates for the timeline of the first film, the same cannot be said here. With all that said, let's jump straight into the conclusion. The Finding Nemo duology takes place in the Pacific Ocean, namely Australia and California, in November of 2003 and August of 2004. Random trivia. Did you know that Finding Dory has 2 Nemos? In the first film, Nemo was voiced by Alexander Gould.
Cindy Plankton from next door, he said that sea turtles said that they live to be about 100 years old.
Since 13 years have passed between both films, Nemo's voice actor has obviously grown up, so he was replaced by another actor named Hayden Rollins.
That's fine, Dad. And in the meantime, Dory will just forget us. Like you said, it's what she does best.
But Nemo's original actor appears, albeit very briefly, in Finding Dory. He's one of the Marine Life Institute workers in the truck during the film's climax.
Wait! Listen, I'm not trying to tell you how to drive. Certainly I can't. I'm not in any position, but can you go faster?
We are so fired.
Thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe if you want to see more. Until then, catch you later.